started recording. Okay, so let me show you once again. I have one flow diagram. um, 1 minute, I will show you. So that you can understand betterly. Just give me a minute. Okay, so you are able to view my screen, this complete procurement cycle, right? So this is the complete flow diagram. Okay, it begins with the PR process. Okay, you can see you can either directly create purchase order or you can create with the purchase requisition. It depends on how the business flow. Like for example, there are some industries, they will not create purchase requisition, they will directly create purchase order. Okay, like for example, retail, they do not create any purchase requisition. The main reason is, if you go with the purchase requisition, there will be a bidding process and it's a time consuming process. Okay, so in retail industry, what they will do, they will immediately select the vendor and they will directly create the purchase order. Why? Because they know the what items they are purchasing from which vendor. Okay, so that was the reason they directly create purchase order. For example, if it is a service industry, like for example, if it is any manufacturing industry, so what they will do, they will go for the bidding process, in the sense they will go along with the purchase requisition. RFQ process is mandatory for them. Okay, so why it is mandatory? Why? Because they want to go with the open market and they need to finalize the vendor who are expert in this particular industry. Okay, like for example, uh, some X company is there. Okay, they want to implement Microsoft Dynamics. Okay, so they want to implement this software, procurement cycle, procurement module they want to implement. So what they will do, X company will raise the purchase requisition as they want to implement Dynamics. Okay, so there will be a vendor, like for example, there may be a list of vendor, like for example, Global ITS, S3 Infotech. Okay, Microsoft. Okay, and Yes Technologies, Cognizant, Wipro. These are the vendors. Okay, so for these vendors, X company will share the request for quotation. Okay, so once they share the request for quotation, and they will submit their bid along with the price. This is the price for the implementation, this is the price for the consultation, this is the price for the licensing. Okay, so like that they will share, and based on that, procurement user will do the scoring. Okay, the send process. After send process, we will get the reply from the vendor, and based on that, we will select one vendor, and that acceptation vendor will be go back to the purchase requisition, and if any workflow is there, it will be completed, and it will automatically release to the purchase order. So up to here we will see first, then we will go to the rest of the cycle. Okay, so let me go to the our instance. This is the trial instance. Okay, so to create the purchase requisition, they are the mandatory thing which need to be there. Like for example, if the user is available but he's not able to create the purchase requisition, so these kind of issues you will face at the time of you are using the supporting and supporting time, or if you are implementing the first time. So there are some procurement user, okay, they don't have access to creation of purchase requisition. So these kind of issues you will face. For that you have to make sure whether that person whether that user has the person is mapped. That is one. For that you will go to the first, like for example, system admin. Okay, under system admin, under users. Okay, like for example, I'm the new person and I want to create the purchase requisition. So if I want to create purchase requisition, if I don't have access, what has a consultant, procurement consultant or SEM consultant, what he has to do? First he will come to this particular form and he will search for that particular user. Like for example, at here I am searching with for my user, that is, so this is my user. This person name should be mapped. Okay, if this person name is not mapped, okay, you have to map. For that what you do, you will click on this particular username, user ID. Okay, and at here this person name will be editable and drop down filter will become, and you will update. Like for example, let me copy this particular name, I will show you. Okay, so let me go to maintain version. So if I map wrong, so I need to delete it, right? So I'm going over here, maintain version, delete, yes, save it, and you can come back. So now you can see when I open this particular form, I don't have person is mapped. If this person is not mapped, you cannot create the purchase requisition. So this is the first step. You need to make sure the person is mapped or not. Okay, so you can click on this particular drop down and you can search by their name. Like at here I am searching with that particular name and I have selected it. Okay, so this is the first where you have to make sure whether the person is mapped or not. The second and most important thing, whether we have given the purchase requisition permission. For that you have to go to the procurement sourcing module. Okay, under setup we have the policies, purchase requisition permission. Okay, so basically these are already covered in last session, so I am re-explaining you so that you can aware about that one. So at here the person name what we have mapped against that particular user, you have to filter with that particular person name. Like for example, at here I filter with this particular person name. Okay, preparer, it's already there. Preparer can be and more against each individual requester. So at here what do you mean by preparer and requester? Okay, so preparer is nothing but who is creating the purchase requisition. Requester is nothing but who is requesting to prepare this particular PR. Like for example, we have multiple departments, like we have finance department, we have HR department, we have uh, internal audit department, corporate risk department. Okay, so we have different departments. Okay, so all the department doesn't have access to create the purchase requisition. So the respective department users are the requester and you are the preparer. So that is the main difference between requester and preparer. You being a procurement user, he can be part of preparer and as well as requester, both can be done. Okay, now you can see by preparer my ID is already mapped. Okay, if I change to request star, in request star, okay, you can add multiple legal entities. Like for example, if this particular preparer must be create in respective legal entity, like for example, he should able to create only for respective legal entity. Like for example, I want to create only for US MF, so I will update the legal entity over here. Okay, USMF, and effective from which date, that is the thing which you can map. Okay, and other than that we have operating unit. Operating unit over here is nothing but the department for which department is going to prepare. Like for example, if I click on add in operating unit, and you can see the receiving operating unit drop down button will be enabled, and at here you will select the departments. Like for example, I have selected finance, and I have selected the IT department, and I am selecting the legal. Okay, I have selected 3 departments, and preparer also I am adding my name so that I can showcase you. I am the preparer, I am the requester at here currently in time being. So I just clicked on save. So these are the 2 main important things which you need to make sure for creation of purchase requisition. The third important thing is security role. Security role we will discuss at the end of all the complete business process flow. At the end of the session we will discuss about the security role. Okay, but the main process wise, these two are main important key elements to create the purchase requisition. Okay, so I have clicked on save. Now for creation of purchase requisition, where we have to go? For that we have to go to the procurement sourcing module. Under procurement sourcing module, we have purchase requisition, all purchase requisition. Okay, now for creation of purchase requisition I will click on new. Okay, so there is workflow is there, so let me quickly disable the workflow. So for each module they will be have certain workflows. So if you want to activate and deactivate, that we can do it from the setup. You can see procurement sourcing workflow, you can go over there, so you can find the list of active work, all the workflows over here which is created. So at here we are going to create the purchase requisition. So I will select the purchase requisition version, and I will make as inactive. Okay, I will show you how to create the purchase requisition workflow in next session. So let's focus on today's complete end-to-end process. Okay, so let me go back to the all purchase requisition. Okay, so if I click new, there will be no workflow. For older one it will be there, as they have created it during the purchase requisition when the workflow is enabled. So I will click on new. Yeah, any questions? Okay, so at here I will give the description as for this particular purchase requisition.
Dan నేను మీకు ఒక ఇమేజ్ క్లియర్ చేస్తాను దాంట్లో కాంటాక్ట్
implementation. Okay, and I will click on OK.
స్టూడెంట్స్ అంటున్నారు ఒకసారి వివరవంతంగా అనుకుంటారు దానికోసం
Dilip, can you mute? If you have questions you can ask. Okay, so at here we have just clicked on new purchase requisition, and we have updated the details as D65 SEM implementation. Okay, that is the title which I have given this particular purchase requisition. So So other than that, at here you can see the business justification reason. It's an optional. It depends on how we can utilize for like for example, there are certain workflows which can be utilized based on business justification reason. Okay, so we can access with the help of that business justification reason. We can use this. Otherwise, it's an optional. Okay, so currently I'm not selecting any business justification reason. I will click on add line.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so when I click on add line, you can see the requests are detailed. By default it populate. Create legal entity, by default it populate. Receiving operating unit, you can see it's populate as sales and marketing. So from there this sales and marketing is populating. From HR module, you can see this particular department. Okay, and if I want to change the legal, operating unit, you can click on this particular drop down. You can see finance, IT and legal. These are the three departments which I have mapped in my purchase requisition permission. Okay, this sales and marketing is coming from HR module. HR module, this is where employee records will be created. Under employee records, they have predefined map the department. So those department is populating by default as sales and marketing for this particular user. Okay, that is Julia Fat founder.
Hello.
Okay, so currently it is mapped as sales and marketing. If you want to change the receiving operating unit, you can change. Like for example, at here I am receiving for the IT department, so I just selected IT department. Okay, so next we will select the procurement category. So at here in procurement category I am selecting as office machines, computer, and I will click on OK. So this is the procurement category. So after this complete full cycle, we will create one more procurement category for fixed asset, and I will show you how we can acquire the fixed assets. Okay, so at here we need to provide the product name, like detailed description of this particular requisition, like for example laptops for training. Okay, how many quantity we want, so we will mention the quantity and the unit. At here unit in the sense unit of measure, so I will mention as each or pieces. And at here I'm not updating my unit price and net amount. Okay, so if I didn't update my unit price and net amount, we cannot proceed for the request for quotation. The reason behind this is, for request for quotation, it's definitely it should go for the workflow. Okay, so at here I don't have any workflow. Okay, so I cannot submit it. So when I'm not able to do submission, so my request for quotation button will be disabled. Okay, so if you want to go with the RFQ process, you have to make sure the request for quotation, the PR workflow should be enabled. Okay, now you can see there is a workflow. You can see when I click on a workflow, there is no workflow has been defined. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to go to the procurement sourcing workflow. I'm navigating from the recent tab. I'm just enabling the workflow as active, purchase requisition, review, versions, and I'm making as active. So at here you can see there is a error and warning message. It came over here. It's stating as the workflow uh, selected for line level element doesn't as active. So there are, you can see there are two workflows over here under the procurement sourcing workflows. You can see there are two workflows: purchase requisition for line review, purchase requisition review. So it was asking to enable both of them. So first I will enable the line. Okay, now I will enable my purchase requisition. So what do you mean by workflow over here is nothing but the delegation of approval matrix. Like you have certain limit of approval. Like for example, if you go with the bank, if you are doing with huge number of amount of transaction, like for example, if you are drawing 10 lakhs, okay. So if the bank, if the teller want to issue 10 lakhs to you, he need to take certain level of approval from his reporting manager or from branch manager. A approval process need to be taken, then only it will be issued to you. Okay, so similarly the approval matrix is defined under the workflow, up to what level, up to what department level you need to get the approval, so you can do that. So with the help of approval, those approval matrix will be designed. Okay, so let me go to the all purchase requisition now. So we have created this 56, right? So currently it is in draft status. Okay, so this is the draft status. For PR, if the workflow is enabled, then there will be the status of the PR will be draft, in review, approved, closed. So closed, and as well as rejected and cancelled. So total there will be a 6 status of the purchase requisition. So draft, in the sense when you create the purchase requisition, the initial status of that particular PR will be draft. Okay, in review status, when you have submitted to the workflow, the PR status will be in review. Okay, and next one is approved, when you have finalized the vendor and the amount has been updated to the I mean the unit price has been updated to the uh, this particular PR. Okay, in that case, once it is approved and the approval process is also completed, then this particular purchase requisition status will be changed to approved. Okay, and other than that we have two more status, that is rejected and cancelled. So if any, during the workflow, if any one approval hierarchy person has been rejected the PR, then the purchase requisition status will be rejected. And cancelled, if you click on cancel, either in line level or in top under the maintenance level, currently it is disabled, as we have it is in draft state. When you click on cancel, the PR status will be changed to cancelled. For rejected and cancelled, as per standard, you cannot resubmit to the workflow. Okay, if you want to, there may be a certain requirement from the customer. They need to, even if it is cancelled, I want to use the same PR to modify it and resubmit to the workflow. That is with the help of customization, it will be done. Okay, as per standard, it is not applicable. Okay, yeah. So these are the status of purchase requisition. Now let us submit to the workflow. Please note, see at here my unit price is 0 and net amount is 0, vendor information is blank. So these three information will be auto populate from the request for quotation once I accept. So still now we have seen the purchase requisition creation, and to create purchase requisition, what are the key things that a user should be available, that we have seen it. Okay, so now let me submit to the workflow. Okay, So once I submit to the workflow, you can see the request for quotation button currently it is disabled. So once I have submitted, this button will be enabled. So let's submit to the workflow. Okay, so at here submission comments, if you want to provide any comments by the submitter, he can update over here and he will click on submit. Okay, now you can see the status of this particular purchase requisition is in review. Okay, and now you can see on top right side, left side, you can see a new request for quotation. If I click on this request for quotation button, a form will be open and it will ask buying legal entity, for which legal entity we are creating this particular request for quotation. So at here in this particular drop down, I will select the respective legal entity, that is USMF. Okay, and we need to select this particular line and we will click on OK. Okay, so once I click on OK, my request for quotation button quotation will be generated. A quotation number will be mapped this particular purchase requisition. Okay, so we can create multiple lines with different legal entities, and we can create in one PR purchase requisition multiple legal entities also we can create it. Okay, so let me click on OK. The reason behind purchase requisition is a centralized form. Okay, this will be accessible to all the legal entities. Okay, so one PR can be base reference. We can create multiple purchase order if it is different legal entities. I will show you with two legal entities how we can create that one. Now you can see on top we have received one information mark message, request for quotation with ID 000010 created. Okay, it means the request for quotation has been created against this particular purchase requisition. Okay, even if I refresh this particular page, you can see on right side you can see the refresh icon. If you click on refresh, okay, so if you click on this particular I symbol related information, under related document you can see the request for quotation number is mapped against this particular purchase requisition. If you click on this request for quotation number, it will open directly the purchase requisition. Okay, so I just clicked on that particular hyperlink of that particular request for quotation code number. Now you can see, please wait. Now this is the request for quotation. By default it opened from the particular purchase requisition form. Okay, if I click on back again, I will be back to the purchase requisition. The actual navigation for request for quotation is, let me go back to home so that you can remember the navigation. For that you will navigate to the procurement sourcing module. Okay, under procurement sourcing module we have request for quotation. Under request for quotation you can see all request for quotation. Okay, so when you click on all request for quotation, you can see the all request for quotation whatever it has been generated in this particular legal entity, it will be displayed over here. Okay, so we have generated number 10, that is 365 SEM implementation. This is the title, document title which we have given, and you can see this is the request for quote ID which is generated. Okay, so at here also you can see we will have different status. One is created. Okay, created in the sense we just converted our request for quotation from PR to RFQ. Okay, so I will click on this particular quote number 10. At here you may confuse a little bit, so I will re-explain, no issues. If you have any doubt, please ask. Okay, so at here I will go to the header. So each form is categorized in two different sessions. One is line view heading, another one is header. Okay, in line view you can see again it is classified in three categories: request for quotation header, request for quotation lines, and line details. And if you go with the header, we have different categorized over here. So in header we will expand the vendor. I will explain one by one from the beginning. Okay, first let me expand the general tab. Okay, in general tab you can see at here we have allow alternative response lines. You can click on yes. Let me click on edit. Okay, and if you click on bidding guidelines term, you can expand this particular drop down. If you have certain guidelines, like if you want to quote, so what are the necessary things you want to attach this particular request for quotation, so you can click on add and you can add the bidding guidelines. So like for example there is nothing is there, so you can add it. So you can directly click on this particular down arrow, right button, view details. Okay, click on add new. So at here I am saying that references. Okay, let me add trade license. So I just add two bidding terms for your reference. Okay, so in this particular drop down I will select as references and I will check this particular checkbox as required. It means when the respective person respective vendor is submitting his quotation, he will share as a reference as attachment with us. Okay, and if I expand the vendor tab, so at here you will see the vendor list. Okay, so we need to map the vendors to whom we are inviting to participate the quotation. I mean, for we are inviting the vendors to participate in the bidding, right? So that is the main purpose of creation of request for quotation. So we need to map those vendors to whom we want to invite to participate bidding process for this particular requisition line item. So at here you can select, like for example I am selecting ME suppliers. Okay, I will click on add line and at here I will select the landed package supplier. Okay, and I will click on save. Okay, so this is one way of adding the vendor, by click on add and select the vendor. Okay, the another way of adding the vendors over in this particular form. Okay, what you need to do, you can see there is a vendor search. Okay, so what this vendor search button will be do, so you click on this particular vendor search and at here we have various criteria. So based on criteria we will filter it and it will display the vendor list. Okay, like for example you can see if I want to filter with the vendor group, so we have around different vendor groups. Like for example other vendor I have selected for example and I will click on OK. So it will display me over here who are the vendor whose vendor group is other. Like for example let me duplicate this particular tab so that you can easily understand who are the other vendor group. So I just clicked on right button on this particular tab and I've clicked on duplicate. So I'm going to the accounts payable, vendors, all vendors. Okay, so at here you can see there will be a column called vendor group. Okay, you can see there is a vendor group over here, and at here what vendor group we have selected, we have selected vendor group as others. So I think others is 40. You can see this 40, right? 40 is other vendor group description. So if I filter over here vendor group as 40, and these vendor details and these vendor details both are same. Okay, there is no change in that. Okay, so this is the advantage of search, vendor search, and based on this you can add it. Like for example, I'm adding air cargo. I have selected it to whom I need to add the lines to invite the request for quotation. So I just selected air cargo line, carrier, transfer selected line. Okay, so when I click on transfer selected line, you can see a vendor detail information has been mapped to this particular vendor list. Okay, next one is auto add vendor. So what is the advantage of this auto add vendor? Okay, so let me explain you. For that, let me go back to the different tab. Okay, at the tab. Okay, so at here, let me go to the procurement category. For that, I will navigate to the procurement sourcing. You can see there is a procurement category. Click on this particular procurement category. Okay, so at here we have selected computer. Under office machine, you can see computers. So for this particular computer, so we have at here we have the various tabs. Okay, one is product. So under this particular category, if we have any product, you will map over here. Okay, and similarly you can see at here vendors. Okay, so we will expand this particular vendor tab, and at here I will map some vendors. Like for example, at here I'm mapping let's LTL vendor. Okay, and AD supply company. So I just map two vendors over here in this particular procurement category against, and I have clicked on save. Okay, so I will go back to the request for quotation case, that is our request for quotation, and if I click on auto add vendor, so what are the vendors I have mapped under the procurement category, those vendors will be auto added. Like for example, if I click on auto add vendors, you can see we have mapped LTL vendor and as well as AD supply companies. So these two vendors I have mapped at the procurement category level. These are the pre-approved vendor for this particular procurement category, and those vendor information is auto populated when I click on auto add vendors. Okay, so we have question and answer that I will explain in another RPR process. Okay, so once we add these vendor, okay, on top you can see under process we have send, under quotation process we have send. Okay, so what do you mean by send over here? So once you click on send, for this vendor there will be an invitation process will be sent to them to participate. We are inviting you to participate for the bidding for this particular purchase requisition line. I want this much quantity, so what is my price, kindly update and submit your quotation. Okay, so when I click on send, you can see these are the vendor list which we have added under this particular request for quotation, and it's populating over here, and once I click on OK, it will be sent to them. Okay, so I just clicked on OK. Now it's processing operation unit for the request for quotation. So once the send is completed, my request for quotation status will be changed to sent. Okay, my highest for request for quotation there will be a two different status. One is highest status, lowest status. Okay, you can see the highest and lowest status. Okay, the highest status will be the first which is the higher one. Like for example, now the cent is higher. Okay, when I am receive at one receive reply from any one vendor, by default the highest status will be changed to received. Okay, and the lowest status will remain same as sent. The lowest status will be changed to receive when all the vendor replies we have received, then the lowest and highest status remains same. Okay, so for request for quotation we have seen two status. One is created, now it's sent. Now we will see how we will receive it. Okay, for now we need to update the price information for this particular quotation line by the vendor. Okay, by the vendor, what they will do, they will have access to vendor portal and they will do that. In case if they don't have vendor portal access, and on behalf of them you are updating the price. Okay, so for that what you need to do, under quotation we have replies, you'll click on manage replies. Okay, so these are the four vendors. You can see at here different number, it is mapped 13, 14, 15, 16. So these are the sub case IDs against case ID in case IDs against this request for quotation. Our request for quotation number is 10. So if you see these three vendor like 13, 14, 15, 16, these are the sub case number. Okay, which is mapped against this particular request for quotation. Okay, to update the price information on behalf of vendor, what we need to do, on top you can see edit and drop down. Click on this particular edit and drop down and you will click on edit RFQ reply. So you can see there is no edit RFQ reply. The reason behind this is we have not enabled certain parameter. For that we will go back to the setup, document sourcing parameter. Okay, we'll go to the request for quotation. So I just enable the RFQ reply. The purchaser can be edit the RFQ reply request under the RFQ request for quotation as yes, and allow question vendor question as yes. Okay, I will show how vendors can ask the questions. Let me go to the all request for quotation. Let me edit. Let me go to the manage replies. Edit. Now you can see there are these two action button has been enabled. Previously you can able to view the edit RFQ and edit RFQ reply is disabled. After enabling one parameter, that is allow purchasing to participate in bid, that I have enabled as yes, that toggle, then these two options will be enabled. Okay, so for 13 I have selected number 13 over here, case sub case number 13, edit RFQ reply. Okay, so on behalf of vendor I am updating the price information for this particular request for quote. So I will click on edit RFQ reply. Okay, so if I scroll down, you can see the quantity and unit has been updated from the purchase requisition. So the vendor will update the price, like for example I'm updating price as 4500, and based on that the my net amount is calculated, and I will click on submit. We'll discuss more in these information in vendor portal. I will demonstrate. I have a live instance. You don't have vendor portal, no one will train you at outside vendor portal in lively. Okay, so let me quickly update same thing for the other rest of the four. 7500, submit. So I'm just updating the price information on behalf of vendor. Okay, for that let me explain you what I have done it. So first I have selected this particular subcase number 15. I will go to the edit on top and I will click on edit RFQ reply. Okay, once I click on edit RFQ reply, so this is the on the vendor portal. When the vendor click on bid, accept bid, so at here he will update his unit price. Okay, and he will press tab and he will click on submit. So once he clicked on submit, the bid will be successfully submitted. Okay, now this is also done. Let me submit for the last one, 16, edit RFQ reply. So let me update the unit price and I will click on submit. So far, any doubt?
No, Gautam.
Okay, so far what we have done is we have created the purchase requisition. From purchase requisition to we have done the request for quotation. Under request for quotation we have invited the vendor, and now we have received the quotation from vendor. Okay, now we need to finalize the vendor. Okay, so you can see for these sub cases we have received the price information, per unit price information. Okay, you can see this is the per unit price information. For each case we have done it. Okay, now we need to finalize the vendor. Among these four vendor we need to select any one. Okay, for that what we need to do, let me go a step back. Okay, so this is my purchase request for quotation. Okay, under quotation replies you can see compare replies. Click on this particular compare reply. Okay, now you can see for each vendor information you may find header and line. Okay, so and also you can see the total amount. Okay, and this is the product. If you see the line information, which is the status is create received. Okay, you can see the quantity and the unit price and the net amount. Okay, so among these which one is the lowest? So either you can filter over here, like for example on total amount, click on this particular drop down and you can pick sort it with lowest to largest. It will be sort, and based on that you will check the particular vendor which you are selecting it. Okay, let's imagine I am selecting LTL vendor. Okay, you can see on left side the first column is mark, so you will check the checkbox with that particular mark which you are selecting it. Okay, and you will click on accept. So before clicking on accept, let me open in another tab. Before that I want to showcase one more thing, purchase all purchase requisition. Okay, this is our purchase requisition. Let me open. Okay, now you can see there is no price, unit price, net amount and vendor information. Okay, these fields are blank: vendor account and vendor name. These four fields are blank. Okay, once I click on accept, this particular LTL vendor, okay, code and name, and as well as this amount and this unit price will auto populate in my purchase requisition. Okay, so let me click on accept. Okay, this vendor I have selected. So once I click on OK, the remaining three quotations like 1001 air carrier and 1003 has been submitted the quotations, right? These three quotations will be rejected. So at here rejected in the sense they have lost the bid, and LTL vendor is accepted, so he won the bid. Okay, now you can see under acceptance we are able to see only one vendor. Okay, so once this once we have finalized the vendor, okay, the status of this particular, I mean, let me refresh. The status of this particular request for quotation status is accepted and rejected. Accepted is my highest status, rejected is my lowest status. The why it is accepted and rejected in two different status for this particular request for quotation. We have two different status. One is accepted in the sense for those vendor which we have selected and accepted it, that particular vendor has won the bid, and the rejected in the sense. Okay, so I have reshared my screen. Hope you are able to view it.
Yes, Mahesh.
So at here the accepted, we have total four vendors which we have mapped under this bidding invitation, right? So in that, three vendors has been rejected. It means that these three vendor has lost the bid. That was the reason our lowest status has been rejected. The highest status is accepted. The reason behind is that we have finalized one vendor which is suits under my budget for the company, and I am accepting this particular vendor. Okay, so that was the reason there are two different status, rejected and accepted. Okay, so totally there will be four different status. One is created, sent, received, accepted, rejected. So these are the five status which you will able to see under the request for quotation. Okay, so this is the final status, and once we have received this particular status, it means that the request for quotation case has been completed. Okay, so my our request for quotation part is completed. Now we will go back to the PR. Okay, so in another tab I have already opened my purchase requisition. Okay, now it is showing as blank. If I click on refresh, on from my right side top we have refresh icon. If I click on refresh, you can see my unit price, net amount, vendor account and vendor name. This information is auto populated. From where it came? From my request for quotation. Okay, so let us approve this particular workflow. Let us complete this one. So I am going to the workflow. workflow history. Okay, it is at line level. Let me reassign. So let me quickly approve this particular PR workflow.
Hi, sir.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, how is Rawat?
My voice is not clear.
Yeah, it's now clear. Yeah, before that, it's not coming. So,
Actually, I said that let me quickly approve this particular purchase requisition. So I am doing that. Yeah. Now it is completed workflow. Uh, Now you can see in review in the sense when it is in when we have submitted to the workflow, the status of that particular purchase requisition is in review. Now it will change to approved and closed. The reason behind is we have enabled the auto creation of purchase order in the policies. Okay, if we not enable that one, the status will be approved and we need to release manually. Okay, so I will create another PR for that. I will show you how we need to create, how we need to release it manually. Okay, now the PR status is closed. It means the purchase order is generated. Okay, if I refresh this particular page, under related information you can see purchase order number 150. Okay, if you click this particular purchase order number, it will directly open the purchase order form. Okay, this is one way, like how we have seen in the RFQ. Like for example, if I click on this particular hyperlink 150,
Now you can see this purchase order has been opened and the status is approved. Okay, as I said earlier, there will be for any transactional form we will have two different views. One is lines, another one is header. Header is nothing but basically whatever the vendor master information will be there. I mean the respective masters, like either it may be a vendor, either it may be a customer. Those information will by default auto populate over here. Okay, so if I go on header, these are the information which is by default it is populating from the vendor master. Lines, these are the main transactional area where you will be mapped. Okay, under lines also it is classified in three different head. One is purchase order header, purchase order lines, and line details. Okay, so basically in lines, purchase order lines, we will map the product or procurement category. We will select it. So currently what I did, this particular line is auto populating from my purchase requisition. Okay, so for this particular purchase order we will have some information related to the our purchase requisition. Okay, those information you can find in the line details. Like for example, if I scroll down, you can see the line details. Under general you can see the request for quotation. So this is my request for quotation number, this is my quote reply, I mean the vendor sub case number. Okay, this is RFQ line, and this is my purchase requisition number. So this information which is populating from my PR RFQ. Okay, so from there it is populating over here. Okay, and you can see the price information, everything is populating over here. Okay, so in purchase order the main important step is confirmation. So without doing confirmation we cannot proceed further. Okay, I mean we cannot receive it and then we cannot invoice it. Like for example, you can see under receive, by default I have clicked on over here and receive. You can see product receipt list is I mean the product receipt is disabled. Okay, and if you go with the invoice, you can see the generate invoice, but you cannot post the invoice. Let me show you that. If I click on generate invoice, okay, you can see there is no line, nothing is coming, and you can see nothing has been came over here. Okay, everything is blank. The main reason is as we have not confirmed the purchase order, we are not able to do we are not able to proceed further. Let me delete it. Okay, let me go a step back. So let me do the confirmation action. For that we will go to the purchase tab. You can see there is a purchase order, purchase, manage, receive, invoice. Okay, so we'll click on this purchase tab. Okay, under action we have confirm. So let me clarify over here. Under action we have two different actions. One is confirm, another one is finalize. Confirm action, you can do n number of confirmation, and for each confirmation there will be a versions will be created and you can able to view those versions. Finalize, once you click on this finalize, you cannot modify this particular purchase order. Okay, like for example, if I am doing confirmation now, under from actions, okay, now confirmation journal has been generated. Under journals you can see purchase order confirmation. Okay, so again if I do confirmation, at here 150-1 is there, right? At here another record will be created, 150-2. Let me show you that. So before that I need to click on edit again. let me make 3501. Okay, so I just modified the unit price. You can see confirm action. So again, if I click on this confirm action, you can see if I go back to the purchase order confirmation journal, another version will be created with the difference. Okay, so you can modify n number of time, and you can print the confirmation journal based on the action you have provided. Okay, so the next part is receive. Okay, we will go to the receive tab. So we have product receipt. Okay, so in product receipt we will see three different case. One is partial receipt, correction, cancellation, full receipt. Total 4 different case we will see right now. So currently I am receiving full receipt. Okay, full receipt in the sense we have 20 quantity and I am receiving 20 quantity. Okay, like, so I am giving it here my product receipt number as one, PR001, that is the number which I am giving. This is the case 1 which we are seeing now. Sorry.
Kasi paano? Kasi ka.
Okay, so this is our first case, that is PR001. Okay, so my order quantity is 20 and I'm receiving quantity is 20. Okay, you can see order quantity and receive quantity. So in this case I'm receiving 100%. Okay, so I will click on OK. Now you can see product receipt journal has been created. Previously it is disabled. If I click on this particular product receipt journal, so this is the one line, that is PR001, which we have created now. If I go to the lines, you can see our order quantity is 20, received quantity is 20, which means we have received the 100%. Okay, so this is case 1. Now case 2 is what I need to actually I have to receive 10 quantities, but by mistake I have received 20 quantity. Okay, so in this case how you will correct this particular product receipt? Okay, for that what you need to do, you will go to the receive tab. Okay, under receive tab you can see the journals. Under journal you can see the product receipt. Click on this particular product receipt. Okay, now you can see there is a correction. If you click on this particular correction, okay, at here you can modify the quantity. It should be greater than 0 and it should be equivalent, it should be less than to the received quantity. So at here my received quantity is 20 and I want to receive 10 quantity. So I will modify to 10 and I will click on OK. So system what it will do, when we click on correct and we have updated the quantity as 10 and I have clicked on OK. So system what it has done, if I go back to the line view over here, this particular product receipt journal, you can see my order quantity is 20, received quantity is 10 and remaining quantity is 10. So system what it did, it convert the correction that initially you have received it 20 and you have modified it with the help of correction function, you have corrected your product receipt. Okay, so this is the small case where you will correct your product receipt. Now the third case is cancel. I have not received it, by mistakenly have created the product receipt. Now I want to cancel this particular product receipt. So what you will do, again you will open this product receipt journal. Okay, you can see cancel. This is the cancel function which is available. You will click on cancel and it will ask whether you want to cancel all the quantity. You will click on yes. So once you click on cancel quantity as yes, you can see a information message came on top. The PR001 has been cancelled. And if I go back to the lines, your order quantity is 20 and remaining quantity is also 20. So nothing we have received. So which means we have cancelled the complete product receipt. Okay. So at here we have to make sure one more thing. Our accrual entries will be posted. I mean the core financial entries will be started from the product receipt. Okay. So at here our accounting entry, so what will be our accounting entry? Our accounting entry will be our purchase accrual, purchase expenditure, invoice. DR stands for debit and CR stands for credit. Okay, so it's a short form, DR and CR. If you are from accounting background, you will understand and more easily. Like for example, at here my debit is 100 and credit is 100. So this is the accounting entry during the accrual time. Okay, so during our product receipt time, so this is the accounting entry where your purchase expenditure uninvoiced account will be debit and a purchase accrual will be credited. Let's see if accrual entry has been turned on. Okay, I will show you how we can do that one. Okay, so you should be aware about this particular accounting entries, even if it is a finance module or if it is a SAM module. So these entries, they are around 4 entries which you need, not 4, 3, total 6 accounting entries which you should be aware, and you can by heart them, and whenever even in sleep also if we ask this entry, you should be able to answer. Okay, so in interview also this particular question may ask as a SEM consultant to SEM consultant also. So what will be the accounting entry during product receipt? So you should be able to answer this particular question, like what will be the accounting entry for the product receipt. You should be able to answer my purchase expenditure uninvoiced account will be debit and my purchase accrual account will be credit. Okay, so this is the accounting treatment during the product receipt. Okay, yeah, so far what we have done, we have created the product receipt 100%, and in that we have done the correction 50%, that is 10 quantity we have received it with the help of correct function, and also we have clicked on cancel to cancel the complete product receipt. Okay, now we will create another product receipt. We will do the partial receipt. Okay, partial receive in the sense, like for example, now I'm receiving 5 quantities. Okay, so what you need to do, you will click on product receipt, under receive we have generate, under generate we have product receipt. Okay, so at here I'm giving my product receipt number. Okay, So once I have updated my product receipt number, it's a mandatory one. If you don't update the product receipt number, system will not allow you to post the product receipt. Like for example, if I have not updated the product receipt number, I just updated the receiving quantity as 5. Okay, under order quantity and quantity I have updated as 5, and if I click on OK, it will throw a error stating that number is not specified. So what this number, if I click on this to drop down, you can see number is not specified, the purchase order product receipt must be specified for the purchase order number. This is the standard error. So without updating this product receipt number, we cannot proceed for posting of purchase product receipt. So let me update PR002, and I just update the quantity as 5. Previously over here quantity is 20, so I am updating this particular quantity as 5, and I have clicked on OK. So a product receipt journal will be posted for 5 quantity, and our 15 quantity will be remainder. Okay, remaining quantity. So if I go back to the product receipt journal, so this is the PR002, this is a product receipt which we have posted now. Okay, if I go to the lines, you can see my order quantity is 20, received quantity is 5, remaining quantity is 15. Okay, so similarly you can do another product receipt. So this is nothing but partial receipt, like PR003. So this time I am receiving 1 quantity, 14 will be remaining. I have clicked on OK. So now you can see we have posted 2 product receipts. Actually we have posted 3 product receipts. First product receipt it's 0, we have cancelled it. So if you see product receipt PR002, we have 5 quantity which we have received it. Okay, you can see the receiving quantity is 5, remaining quantity is 15. Let me go back to overview, and PR003, this is the third product receipt. If I go to the lines, I have received 1 quantity and 14 in remaining. Okay, so like that you can receive in multiple product receipts. Okay, now let's go to the invoice. So this is the main next tab is invoice. So we will generate invoice. Okay, under invoice we have generate actions. Under generate actions we can see on click on invoice. So at here our invoice number is mandatory. Without the invoice number we cannot post the purchase order invoice. Okay, so at here also you can see the product receipt. You can see it here the product receipt is mentioned as multiple. So what is the reason behind this multiple? We have one purchase order line where 20 is my order quantity. We have done the product receipt, 2 product receipts. In one we have received 5 quantity, in another we have received the 1 quantity. Okay, so it's combining both and it's showing as 6 quantity. You can see at the PO invoice line level, it's 6 quantity it's showing over here. Okay, for example, if you want to book invoice individual product receipt base, so for that what you will do, you will click on match product receipt. Okay, so at here you can see there are 2 product receipt number and one 5, another one is this one. So you will uncheck one checkbox and you will click on OK. Okay, so once I clicked on OK, and it will ask that based on the product receipt you are updating the PO invoice line quantity. You will click on yes, and now you can see 1 quantity has been updated and the particular unit price has been populating over here, and you can see the match status is not auto populating because we have not enabled in the policies. Okay, that I will show you how we can do that. Okay, so at here, for any purchase order, if you go with any industry, we will have two different concepts in purchase order. One is two-way matching principles, three-way matching principle. So what do you mean by two-way matching principle? So let's understand. I believe in last video the audio is not properly well, so that was the reason I am re-explaining these two concepts so that you can understand. Okay, so let me give some space and let me open another tab. Okay, two-way okay, in two-way matching principle, your purchase order PO line, okay, quantity okay. Okay, so at here particulars you can leave it like, for example, PO line, okay, like for example computer, our order quantity is 20 and unit price is 3501 and this is our net amount. Okay, and PO invoice, this one, and for example if I am receiving 5 quantity, okay, and remaining quantity is 15, remaining quantity is 15. Okay, so in this case how the two-way matching principle will work, it will compare 5 quantity is there, under 20 we have 5 quantity which we can invoice it and it is already available, and based on this particular amount and 5 quantity, our two-way matching principle will accept it. Okay, in three-way matching principle, what it will do, we will have another column in between PO invoice and line, that is PO product receipt. So at here also it will check okay, so at here okay, so in three-way matching principle and two-way matching, in two-way matching principle, at the time of PO invoice it will compare with the purchase order line. Okay, and if the quantity and amount, if it is match, the match status will be updated automatically. Okay, if you see in three-way matching principle, so what it will do, it will compare the PO invoice quantity and your receiving quantity and your invoice quantity. If these three are match, it will, the match status, this match status is there, right, which is not performed. So I need to run this match status manually by clicking on update match status. It will check whether it is in two-way or three-way matching principle which we have mapped. So based on that it will be calculated. So currently it is not performed. So if I update match status, so what it will do, you can see it is status as passed. So based on the two-way or three-way matching principle what I have defined in my policy, so based on that it will be calculated. Okay, so how these two principles will work? In two-way matching principle, at the time of invoice it will check with the order quantity, the quantity, unit price and amount. Whether it is match, the status will change as pass. If it is not match, it will be shown as failed. Okay, like for example in three-way matching principle, it will compare with the invoice quantity, unit price and amount, will compare with your product receipt and as well as the PO invoice. So in three level it will compare. That is three-way matching principle. Any doubt in these two? Okay, like for example, if I modify the unit price, like for example I am changing as 3600. Okay, if I run update match status, let me update 20, and now let me update the I'll show you this match status. So the conceptual is clear, right? The two-way and three-way matching principle. Okay, so let me update the match status. Okay, now it is passed. Let me provide the invoice number as it is a mandatory field. Description is optional, and invoice date, if you don't provide the invoice date, it will take by default today's date as invoice date. So at here we have totally 5 different dates. So what do you mean by these 5 different dates? Okay, what do you mean by invoice receive date, invoice date? So what is the main difference between these two? Okay, so invoice receive date is different and invoice date is different. Okay, for example, you will receive the invoice today, but if you see under the document, the invoice date is something prior of this particular month. Like for example, I have received my invoice today, but if I see the document date of the particular invoice is, let's imagine 12th November. Okay, and similarly, what do you mean by date of VAT registration? So this particular date, I mean this particular PO invoice related to which tax period for the settlement. So basically it's an optional, it's very rare, we'll update, it's completely financial. Okay, next one is posting date and due date. Posting date, the date in which month you are posting. So currently it is by default will be today date, posting date. If you are updating prior month, if the month is closed, you cannot be post. Okay, due date is auto calculated from the invoice date based on the terms of payment. Okay, for example, if your terms of payment is 30 days, so from the invoice day it will calculate 30 days and it will give by default due date. Okay, so these are the 5 different dates, and you will click on post. So once you click on post, your invoice will be posted, and at here your accounting entry, I will show you what will be your accounting entry. Okay, now you can see on top we have received one message stating that the invoice has been posted. Okay, so you can see under invoice we have invoice journal. So there is the PO invoice which we have posted. If I go to the lines, you can see one quantity has been invoiced, quantity 1 has been invoiced. Okay, so at here if I click on vouchers, currently it is blank. The reason behind is there are some batch which need to be run on periodic basis, like every 5 minutes, which we have enabled it. Okay, so still it is in not process, so we will manually run it. So this is completely finance process one, that one, the accounting, the batch, those batch. Okay, now you can see at here we are able to view two entries. One is purchase expenditure for expenses and vendor balance. Okay, so in these two, additional two, three more lines will be added. I will show you what will be the accounting entry, actual accounting entry. In PO invoice, first it will be reverse our product receipt, our accrual entries. Okay, so at here what will happen, my purchase accrual will be debited and my purchase expenditure and invoice will be credited. It means the accounting entry what happened during the product receipt, the same entry will be posted during the PO invoice in inverse sign. Like for example, previously it is debit, it is in positive, now it is in negative figure. Okay, credit will be in minus sign and debit will be in positive sign. Okay, my purchase accrual, previously it is in minus, now it is in plus sign. So the net impact of these two accounts will be 0. Okay, other than that we will have additional three more main account, that is purchase expenditure for product / services. This will be debited. Okay, tax, let's imagine 5% tax. Okay, vendor balance, so this is the actual accounting entry which will be booked during the invoice. Okay, so your purchase expenditure for product or service will be debit, your tax will be debit, and your vendor balance will be 105. Okay, so this is the accounting entry which will be posted during PO invoice. Okay, so you should aware about these two entries mainly as a SEM consultant or finance consultant also. It's a mandatory during the interview. This is a common question which they will ask. Okay, yeah. So let me, so far what we have seen, let me show you the image. Okay, so far up to PO in vendor invoice we have seen it. So first what we have done it, we have created the purchase requisition. From purchase requisition we have started submission for the approval, and from approval we have created the RFQ. Okay, request for quotation. Under request for quotation we have sent to vendor. From vendor we have received the replies and we have compared the vendor quotations, and we are accepted the vendor and we are rejected the vendor. So once we accept, the other quotations will be rejected, and from here the PO process will be finished. Our PR workflow process will be finished, and it will convert from PR to PO. Okay, from PO it is converted and we have done the confirmation, PO confirmation. Once the PO confirmation is done, we will do the product receipt. Product receipt is done, then we will do the PO invoice. Up to this part we have seen it. The next part is payment. So payment is completely finance, so let me show you that also. For that, what we will do, let me go a step back. So this vendor is LTL vendor, right? Okay, so what we will do, we will go to the accounts payable module. Under accounts payable module we have payments. Under payments we have vendor payment journal. Okay, Okay, so at here we will click on new, and at here we will select the vendor pay, and you will click on lines. Okay, so once you click on lines, so this is the view how it vendor payment journal will look like. So at here we will select account has that particular vendor, that is our vendor is LTL vendor, right? Either you can type LTL, it will filter automatically, or else you can directly filter from here in this particular drop down. Under this particular drop down also you can filter with that particular vendor name. Okay, so once you have selected the vendor account and you will press tab, the vendor name information will be populated, and you will see the settle transaction button. Previously it is disabled, now it has been enabled. Let me show you that once again. Now you can see the settle transaction is disabled, right? So when I type LTL, I have selected the vendor, and if I press tab, you can see this button will be enabled. Okay, so if you go this particular settle transaction, you will find the list of invoices which we have posted against this particular vendor. Okay, now you can see this is the invoice which we have posted just 2 to 3 minutes ago during the our PO invoice. Okay, so I will select this particular line item and I will click on OK. Sorry, I need to reduce the zoom size so that I can click on OK. Let me increase it. Okay, so once I clicked on OK, you can see the amount is automatically come under debit side. The reason behind is we are making the vendor payment. When we are making the vendor payment, our vendor will be debited. Okay, during invoice what happened, our vendor is credited. We need to pay to the vendor, so still we are due to vendor, so that was the reason it's showing in negative. Okay, now at here by default at here I will select the bank account. So at here in this particular drop down I will select USMF operation. Okay, and I will click on post. So once I click on post, my vendor payment is done. Okay, I just clicked on post button. You can see operation completed, and if I click on this particular voucher, now at here my accounts payable in the sense my vendor balance is getting debited and respective bank account is credited. So this is the third entry of the payment. Vendor debit with 105 and bank is credited 105. Okay, so these are the three entries during the PO invoice. I will share this screenshot in the chat session so that you can remember it. Okay, so these are the three entries during the PO invoice time, and even the interviewer will ask these three entries. So what is my product receipt entry, what is my PO invoice entry, during payment what is my entry. So these are the three entries which definitely an interviewer will ask you for the SEM questions. Okay, and there is another question which he may ask about the, he will ask you to explain the procure to pay cycle. Okay, procure to pay cycle is nothing but the image which I am showing to you, this one, procure to pay cycle will start from the purchase requisition, from purchase requisition to RFQ. Under RFQ will finalize the vendor, then the PR approval process will be completed. Then once it is PR is approved, you will convert to PO, and after that you will do confirmation, receiving, invoice and payment. So you have to remember this complete cycle as in this way. Even if the interviewer asks to explain the procurement pay cycle, so you can explain on high level. Okay, so you should remember this flow. This is very complicated flow to explain the business need. So I'll make another small flow and I will share with you in the chart session, so that you can remember it easily. Okay, so this is the another question which may ask during the interview, and how you can answer. Sorry. So how you can answer? The first thing is we will create the PR, and after that we will create the purchase requisition line. We will submit to the workflow. We will create the request for quotation. We will send it and invite the vendors for the bidding. We will finalize the vendor and we will accept it, and rejection process will be done in compare replies. After that we will complete the PR cycle, PR in workflow cycle, and we'll convert the PR to PO. After that, if the approval is there, we will submit to the approval. If the approval is not there, it confirmed. After that you will do the product receipt, and you will do the invoice, and you will do the payment. Okay, so this is the complete procure to pay cycle. So is there any doubt in this one? So far we have covered procure to pay cycle and the accounting entries, partial receive, correction, the correction of product receipt, cancellation of product receipt, and RFQ process. We have seen it. Okay, so if you have any question in that, please let me know. Okay, so if there is no question, so there are two more scenario. Let me quickly cover one more scenario, that is advance. So let me show you how we can create the advance for this purchase order and fixed asset. Okay, where is my cursor? Yeah. Okay, so let me go back to the voucher dynamics. So I am at home page. Okay, now I am directly creating the purchase order. Okay, to demonstrate how we can issue the advance invoice and advance payment. Okay, so far what we have seen the complete procure to pay cycle. Now in between we want to issue some advance to the vendor. Okay, to issue advance to vendor, we need to generate the advance invoice and payment. So there are two conceptual things which you need to do it. So first I will go to the accounts payable, purchase order, all purchase order. This is one way. Another way is you can navigate to procurement sourcing, purchase order, all purchase order. Okay, so at here I am clicking on new button to generate new purchase order. So once I click on new, a create purchase order form will be open in front end, and at here we will select the vendor. Like for example, I am selecting GM Infotech. Okay, and if I scroll down if site warehouse, if you have any site warehouse, you can update. If it is not there, you can leave it as blank. So I am just updating some random site and warehouse. Okay, and I will click on OK. So once I click on OK, a purchase order will be generated
So this is my purchase order number 151 which is generated. Okay, so at here in line level I will select the category, like for example I am selecting as rent expenses. Okay, rent expenses I am selecting as procurement category, and I'm giving quantity as 12 each month, and unit price I'm mentioning as 50k. Okay, so at here for each month 50,000. Okay, each month 50,000, annually it's 60 lakhs, 6 lakhs. Okay, so this is my annual rent and this is my monthly rent, and this for duration is 12 months. Okay, so now I will click on submit. There is no workflow, so I will not click on submit. I will directly go to the purchase tab and I will click on actions confirm. Okay, as I said, the confirmation is mandatory thing. Without confirmation we cannot do any receiving part, invoice part. Okay, now we have done the confirmation action. Okay, now there is a difference between the prepayment invoice. Prepayment in the sense over here is advance invoice and as well as PO invoice. Okay, the form look like same but conceptually it's different. How it is different means, in PO invoice before that we will do the receiving. Okay, that is nothing but the product receipt. And advance invoice we will apply a parameter that is nothing but prepayment. Okay, you can see under purchase tab under prepay actions we have prepayment. Okay, you will click on this prepayment. Okay, and at here you will provide the description, like for example I want 2 months advance. Okay, if it is a fixed amount you can update the amount over here, like for example 1 lakh. Okay, or else if you want to update based on percentage, you will select option as percentage and you will specify the percentage, like for example 15%. If you press tab it will by default update the amount, like for example, so I'm just making round off figure. Okay, let's make 20%. Okay, so I just updated 20%. So on this particular 6 lakhs, 20% it's calculated as 1 lakh 20. Okay, so once I have updated the percentage, it's calculated in this way. If I am updating manually, so I will select the fixed asset, the type as fixed, and I will update the amount. So these are the two different conceptual. Based on that we will update the advance amount. Okay, so currently I am updating percentage as 20. So the amount is auto populating over here, and at here I need to select the prepayment category. So at here I am selecting the prepayment category as different. So at here you will have advance category. So currently I am selecting some different category so that I can demonstrate. Okay, we will create another 2 different categories. One is for advance, another one is for this one, and we will see it. Okay, so I will click on save. So once I click on save, a template will be applied. You can see remove prepayment. So at here a template has been applied for the prepayment. Okay, now I will directly go to the invoice tab. Okay, now you can see the prepayment invoice. So if I click on this particular prepayment invoice, the PO invoice will be generated. The advance amount will be generated. So in this particular advance invoice, at here also the same thing. Our invoice number it's mandatory and date option is the same. The form look like same as PO invoice, but the difference is
this is the advance invoice, that is standard PO invoice. In advance invoice we don't have the product receipt, that's the difference. Okay, so at here I'm giving okay, so at here I am given the advance number as pre-INV 001. Okay, and I will click on post button. So once I click on post button, so at here what will be my accounting entry? Okay, so at here what will happen, your advance to supplier account will be debited. Okay, and if tax is there, tax will be also debited, and your vendor balance will be credited. So that is the accounting entry at the advance. Okay, I will make that one also so that you can remember. So this is the advance entry. Okay, and the payment entry remains the same, this only. Okay, let me add another one so that invoice with advance. Okay, so I'm just adding another line over here, PO invoice with advance settlement. Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the accounting entry during the PO invoice with advance settlement. So at the time, what will happen? Your previously advance to supplier has been debited. Now it will be credited, and your vendor balance will be debited. So this entry will be reversed during when you are settling the advance amount with the PO invoice. Okay. So this is the accounting entry. So I am just shared around 5 entries. So I will share this particular thing with you in the chart session so that you can remember it, and these entries may definitely ask at the interview time. Okay, so you can remember easily, so I will share it with you. Okay, so far we just created this advance invoice, right? So let me quickly make payment and let me show you how we can do the settlement. Okay, now you can see at here this is my invoice number which is posted. Okay, now again I will go to the accounts payable vendor payment journal. So at here I am navigating with the help of recent vendor payment journal, or also you can navigate from the accounts payable payment vendor payment journal. So let me click new to create new vendor payment journal, lines. So let me select GM Infotech, settle transaction. So let me select 1,20,000 and I will click on OK button. Okay, let me select the bank and let me click on post button. So once I click on post, my vendor advance payment will be posted. Okay, so my payment entry will be remain same as my vendor balance will be debited. Okay, vendor balance will be debited and bank will be credited. So there is no change in the payment. Okay, even if it is a advance payment also. Now my payment has been done. You can see my vendor balance is getting debited 1,20,000 and my bank is getting credited. Okay, now let me go back to the same PO. Now I am booking the actual let's imagine I am making 3 months together as an invoice, so that I can settle the invoice and I can show you. So for that I will go to the all purchase order form, accounts payable, purchase order, all purchase order. Okay, so our purchase order number is 151. So there are two different number series, so that was the reason you are able to confuse. So let me select 151. Okay, so already confirm action is done. So let me go back to the receive product receipt. Okay, and let me give PR123 and I'm receiving for 3 months. Let's imagine 3 months. Okay, and I have clicked on OK. Now I will go to the invoice, generate invoice. Okay, now at here we will apply our advance amount. We will settle our advance amount with the actual PO invoice. Okay, so what we need to do at here, once we generate click on generate invoice, under invoice on top you can see under vendor invoice, we can see under action apply prepayment. Okay, so we will click on this apply prepayment in the sense the advance which we have issued against this particular vendor. So we can against this particular purchase order we can able to view under apply prepayment. Okay, so if I click on this apply prepayment, now you can see there is one prepayment invoice which is 1,20,000 is available. So I will check this particular checkbox, then the amount will be auto applied 100%. Okay, and if you want to apply partially, you can apply partially by editing this particular amount is there, right? Amount to apply in this column you can edit the amount. Like for example, I want to settle 50,000 or 5,000, you can settle it. Okay, so currently I am applying 100%, that is 1,20,000. So I will apply 1,20,000 over here by checking this particular checkbox, and I will click on apply prepayment. So once I click on apply prepayment, now you can see another line will be added with minus 120. Okay, so let me go to the product receipt. Okay, now you can see the balance is 30. Okay, For 3 months it's 1,50,000, and we are settling with 1,20,000 so what is the difference between these two? Okay, the total difference of this particular invoice is 30,000. Okay, so those that 30,000 will be shown under the balance of this particular PO invoice. So let me show you that how we can do it. So if I update the invoice number and post this particular PO invoice, let's imagine I'm giving the some random invoice number. Okay, and if I click on post, now you can able to view the okay, you can see it's stating as the match validation is not run. I have not enabled that particular parameter. I will show you. Update match status. Currently I'm doing manually updating the match status, and I will click on post. Okay, now this invoice has been posted. Okay, if I go to the invoice, okay, INV 8451 which we have posted, if I click on the voucher, it takes 1-2 minutes to update the voucher number. Okay, so at here you can see this prepayment application and vendor balance. Your at here the prepayment application is nothing but the advance to supplier account is getting credited, and the vendor balance is getting debited. Okay, and on top of that there is a purchase expenditure for expenses, and vendor balance is getting created. Okay, so if you see the net impact of this particular PO invoice, there will be a 30 has a balance. Okay, let me go a step back. You can clearly understand from the vendor transactional side. So let me go a step back. Accounts payable, all vendors. So let me select GM Infotech, and I will click on vendors transactions. Okay, if I click on this particular transactions, now you can see so this is the 996, this is the invoice which I have posted. Okay, 1,50,000, and you can see balance 30. Why it's showing as balance 30? The reason is this 1,20,000 and 1,50,000 we are settled down, so the remaining balance is 30,000 which is showing over here. Okay, even if I make if I try to make the payment against this particular vendor, I will able to view the balance 30,000 against this particular invoice number. Okay, so this is the advance, apply, and payment and settlement. So they are the three concepts, and the accounting entry remains same like this. For advance to supplier, tax and balance. For invoice, this is the advance, this is the entry. Okay, so far any doubt?
No, Gautam.
So so next session what we will do, I will do one thing. I will create a new legal entity. Okay, SCM, I will create new legal entity as SCM. So at there I will update the procurement category, how we can import the procurement category, and how we can do these kind of things. I will show you over there, and based on that we will do the complete end-to-end cycle. Okay, So
Okay, Gautam. Sure.
so far you have seen the complete cycle procure to pay, and we have seen the advance. Now we will see the next cycle in how we can apply the settings in new legal entity, which we have not seen it. We are seeing the configuration on existing part to understand the complete process. Okay, now we will create a new legal entity and we will perform all the configuration and we will do the complete cycle. Okay, and if we done that complete cycle, our procurement to pay cycle is complete, our procurement module will be completed. Okay, and after that we will see the sales and marketing module and product information and inventory management. So these are the three modules will be remaining. Okay. Okay, if you have any questions and if you have any doubts in the last training and you have done the practice, right? So if you face any issues, I believe already few members have already reached me and Gautam. If you have anything else, please you can raise it. If there is no question,
I think we don't have any questions
okay,
now.
then we can close today's session.
Hmm.
And I will share these accounting entries in the chart session so that you can by heart. Okay.
If possible, share in the
Yeah,
group.
yeah.
I think.
I'm saying that I will share in the WhatsApp channel.
Okay.
Okay then. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend and all.
Okay, Gautam.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you.